Hi, everybody. Welcome to It's Bizzy. Here we go. Hi, everybody. It's Bizzy. It is episode 573. And I cried on the 10th when Charlie died. It's been weird, right? It's been weird. It's felt dark. It's felt lost. I just feel like, what's going on? What world are we living in where this stuff's going on? I loved Charlie Kirk. I just got to tell you this. I loved Charlie Kirk. For me, he's like in the same wheelhouse as my kids. He's a couple years older than my oldest son, but passionate, driven. Nothing stopped him. He talked to everybody. If you didn't agree with him, he's like, okay, tell me why you don't agree with me. And I'm nothing like Charlie Kirk in that I haven't affected the world like he did by any stretch of the imagination, but I have been doing this podcast for 10 years and talking about hot subjects that people don't like. I've had hate mail. And I'm not trying to compare myself again to Charlie Kirk, but when you go out there and you put yourself on the line and you don't really even feel like you're putting yourself on your line, you just feel like it's God put you here to do this. Like, it doesn't matter. We're just doing this. It's what God wants us to do. We have this passion within us. And I'll never forget watching him on election night and watching Trump win. And we had watched, we were going back between the Daily Wire and between watching Charlie's show. Again, we're on YouTube or whatever channel we were, it was all on YouTube. And we didn't watch the regular news because we don't really watch the regular news. So we're watching Charlie. He went out and he had worked so hard to wake people up and say, God is good. Did you forget that? God is good. Boys are boys and girls are girls. It doesn't matter what your feelings are. They aren't facts. They change all the time. And he was like getting in front of people's faces. And he's like, come on, realize what Trump is about. It's not about all this stuff you're hearing on the media. Think for yourself. You guys are young. Come and approach me. Give me your opinions. Let me hear what you're talking about. And people believed him. And he went out, started this turning point at 18 years old. I love hearing Candace Owens talk about him and how he was wearing his dad's suits and they didn't even fit him. But he had this passion and this drive. And to watch his face when Trump, it was like live, right? I was watching it live. And just the smile that came on his face. It was truly God. It was like he had this smile. And his wife, Erica, came over and gave him a hug and was like, you did it, baby. You did it. And I'll never forget that as long as I live. I also won't forget being in my house. And I get notifications from the Daily Wire that tells me what's going on. It says, oh, you got to go pay attention now, Elizabeth. And it said Charlie was shot. And I had my friend who lives in Canada. She reached out to me. This is before we knew that he was actually gone. And I didn't watch the video of him, of the really graphic one, just because it's not in my wheelhouse. And I don't like to watch those things. It's just not my thing. I can't watch gore. I like, Tinkerbell. Sorry, I always say that, but it's true. I don't like to watch dark things. So I'm watching. I just heard that he was hurt. And so my friend Alana reached out to me and she said, there's a prayer group, Catholics for Catholics, I think is the name of it, on YouTube. And we're all saying the rosary. And I was on there and I was saying the rosary. My husband and I said the rosary together with thousands of people from around the world for Charlie Kirk. Well, again, we didn't know that he had passed. I might sound crazy right now, and that's okay. I don't care if you think I'm crazy, because a lot of people think I'm crazy. But I was kneeling in my bedroom, where I have a Blessed Mother right next to my bed on my nightstand, and I have a Blessed Mother above my bed, up on the wall, on a shelf on the wall. And I was saying the rosary. And all of a sudden I was actually using I have these rosary beads that I bought in Medjugorje. They're much bigger and they're larger, and it's like definitely more of a statement piece, and it's really big, but I've been using it a lot to say the rosary every day. I just love this rosary because it's big and it just feels like substance. I have small ones and I have big ones, but I really like this one. So I was saying this rosary. My husband was next to me saying the rosary as well. We're following along on YouTube with the priest. And I can tell you, I had this vision And I had a vision of Charlie Kirk like walking with Blessed Mother, like her taking his hand and going, we're going to be okay. Let's go. I didn't want to tell a lot of people that. In fact, you guys I've only told 2 other people that story, and it gave me a sense of peace. And the rest of that day, I'm going to read to you guys, which is something I don't normally do. Again, I don't really tell you guys all these things and secrets of my life, but I'm going to read you something. I think I've told you guys I've been journaling for 100 days. If you listen to me regularly, you know now it's like 110 days, whatever it is. And so I've been journaling and journaling and journaling, and I journal every night. And every night I say I'm not going to write a lot, and every night I write another page. So I bought this, and I just want to show it to you because it's The Giving Tree, which I just love this story by Silverstein. And I bought it when my daughter was graduating from law school in Vermont. And this woman has a business, and her business is called Red Barn Collections. And she makes these books. She takes old books and she makes them into notebooks. All right, needless to say, I've been writing in this book, and it has this story in it as well, which I'm not going to read right now, but I'm going to read to you. I had been writing about my day, and I said, then tragedy set in. Charlie Kirk, whom we love, was killed at an outdoor event where he was taking questions like he always has. It was so tragic. We prayed, did the rosary on YouTube, and he died. He was shot in the neck. It was so fast, and they still haven't found the assassin. We are living in the darkest times. Violence is everywhere. No one talks about the person who killed all the people in Vegas years ago. No one talks about Trump's would-be assassin. And now, on the eve of 9/11, no one knows who killed Charlie. We know when someone steals a pack of gum, but someone that kills, we can't find them. I call BS. So much is hidden. Gets to judge what we can know and what we cannot. God, please help America. We love you and need you so much today. Please help us. So I wrote that on that night that Charlie died. And then I watched Erica speak. And wow, that's all I can say. Wow. Her husband just died. And she got up and she's like, I am never stopping. I am never stopping. And I don't know why any of us would ever stop. There's so much darkness in the world. And it's so crazy. I watched on, oh, by the way, my necklace is from CB Jewelry. Don't you love it? It's huge. It's from their fall collection. I think they only have one more left. And these cross earrings are also from CB Jewelry. I just had to throw that out there. But I want to talk about the story that I saw about this gentleman. So Charlie Kirk, I guess, was in the UK, and he was taking questions like he always does. And this man comes out and he goes, you know, there's so much depression in the world. There's so much darkness in the world. People are committing suicide. People aren't happy. What's going on? Why aren't people happy? And Charlie Kirk said to the guy, now, Charlie Kirk always had statistics. He supposedly remembered numbers like nobody's business. And so he remembered all these statistics, and he said to this man, because he had learned from the UN and he had learned from the United States, that in Africa, people do not commit suicide. People are not depressed. Do they have all these things that we have, all these, running water? Probably not. Do they have the ability to go to the Publix at 2 seconds or to go to a Wawa in 1 second? Do they have the ability to do DoorDash? No, they do not. Their lives are simple, and they do not actually feel unhappy for one, and they don't have a suicide rate like we have here. This young gentleman did not like Charlie Kirk's message. Charlie, of course, was like, here's the statistics. I'm not making this up. And the guy was like, whatever. And he just stomped away after he was over. And that gentleman said the meanest thing when Charlie died. He was like, this is great. He died. When do we get to this place in our world that people feel the right to say, I'm happy that someone's dead? Like, seriously? If you're happy that someone's dead, you put that on your social media page and you go and you relish in this. And some of these people, I have to tell you, are the most demonic people I've ever seen in my life. I've seen demonic people in real life, like having a demonic episode. In real life, I did in Medjugorje. So to see this on people's reels on Instagram or on TikTok, and you're like, these people are demonic. Their bodies are taken over by demons. They are going out there and they're laughing in this scary laugh that you see in scary movies, which again, I don't watch. Or they say these things in like, it's just so demonic. And to think that people are gravitate towards that. They're like, I think this is okay. I'm like, are you seriously, do you need to go get your head checked? Obviously they do. Then I heard today that the guy who actually got up and killed that woman on the train, on that little metro train in Charlotte, is out in a mental hospital, and they're doing that instead of, like, where do we live, you guys? Where do we live? And now to tell you a personal story. I did a story a couple weeks ago. I had on, I reached out and had on Dave Ehrenberg. Now, Dave Ehrenberg wrote the book, The Florida Shuffle. Now, again, I was kind of like doing my own life, met this girl, heard her story. She's like, Bizzy, I'm part of the Florida Shuffle. And I was like, what's the Florida Shuffle? Literally within less than 24 hours, I put on Megyn Kelly's show. I hear about Dave Ehrenberg's on the show. He's talking about the Florida Shuffle. Is that a coincidence or is that a God wink? I think it's a God wink. So I reach out to Dave Ehrenberg. We come on my show. Yes, he would. So Dave Ehrenberg came on my podcast. I then went down a little bit of a rabbit hole. Again, nothing like Charlie Kirk. Like, this is on minuscule level, okay? Now, I got to tell you, prior to going on my little investigative little minor journalism that I did, I was asked to be on the board of a treatment center here in South Florida. And they said, will you be on a board? We would love to get your opinions. And I said, sure, I'd love to help. Well, Dave Ehrenberg comes on my podcast and I learn more. And I get invited to come to another thing that's going on in my town and another thing that's going on in my town. And I'm watching these people that are making money off of sick people. That's just what it is, okay? Because the reality is treatment in America is totally screwed up, okay? Drug and alcohol treatment in America is completely screwed up. There's no ands, ifs, and buts about it, okay? Nobody really gets better. It's a revolving door, constant. And when I had Dave on my show, he said, if I were you, I wouldn't send your people to South Florida because the treatment isn't great. Okay. Well, I went to these people and they're like, oh, it's gotten better. 10 years ago, people were dying all over the streets. Now it's only a couple of months. It's so much better. It's so much better. And I'm like, oh my God, we're justifying this. We are justifying people dying of drug and alcohol overdoses. And it's okay. So I went and I've talked about it. As you guys know, if you follow me on social media, I've talked about my stance on what I think about treatment. Now, this is my opinion. Everything I say on It's Bizzy that comes out of my mouth is my opinion. It might not be your opinion, and that's okay. But last I checked, we still live in America, and the First Amendment, my right is here to be able to speak my truth. So I've spoken my truth. Not only that, I went to my town hall and I went to City Hall while they were having a meeting, and I got up and I stood in front of all these people, and this girl calls me out and she's like, what are you doing? What are you talking about this for? It's so much better than it was 20 years ago. I'm like, okay, great. It's better than it was 20 years ago. It's better than it was 10 years ago, 6 years ago. But is it still perfect? No. So I call bullshit. Okay. That's just what I do. And I said that. And this woman calls me on the phone. She goes, I need to talk to you first thing in the morning. Please call me first. 8 a.m. I need to talk to you. I'm like, okay, lady, you want, and she's from the board of this. She's from this treatment center. I'm not getting into names. And she says to me, we can't have you on the board anymore. You can't be telling people not to come to South Florida to get treatment. Really? Okay. I can't. Last I checked, I live in America. Charlie Kirk can't go on college campuses and ask people questions and rebuke what they say, just talking, but he gets killed for it, right? So that's the world we live in now. I voice my opinion about how I feel about treatment in South Florida, and I get asked to be on the board. My husband said, well, it makes sense because you're ruining the bottom dollar. I said, you're exactly right. I'm ruining the bottom dollar. I have a big mouth. I open it wide and I share with you guys what's going on. And I share with you my opinions. Now you can take them or you can leave them. That's up to you. I'm not going to force you to believe what I believe, but you can listen to it, right? Like I listen to some stuff I don't like, not really that often, but I do. I mainly stay on the right because I want to stay in the light. That's just the reality. I don't want to be with the darkness. I don't. I've watched it. You guys, you don't understand. I, for so long, was searching and searching and searching for something. Okay. As you guys know, again, if you've been following me, if you're new to me, here we go. I was raised Irish Catholic. My dad's Jewish. Okay. That's just the way it was. I went to Catholic church my entire youth. I, of course, went away when I was in college. I'd go to church every once in a while, but it wasn't really a big part of my life. It's just what I did. It wasn't until I got divorced and I went back to church and I didn't go to the Catholic church because that was what was going on in the Catholic church was the whole, the stuff with the little boys. I have 2 sons. Leaving the Catholic church, went to the Episcopal church and did all that, did yoga, did all this stuff. And then I got asked to go to Medjugorje in Bosnia-Herzegovina. And I went to Bosnia-Herzegovina and I went to Medjugorje and I had an experience there that will never make me turn around and go back to any other church. But when I was in Medjugorje, I saw things there and things that are unexplainable. And knowing that God is good and knowing that Mary does come down from heaven. And you might think I'm crazy and that's okay. But Mary came down, has been coming down and making apparitions to people, telling people what the futures may hold. And if you don't believe, I feel really bad for you. I just do. I pray for you. I pray for you. I believe like never before. I saw somebody have something demonic happen to them in front of me when I was there. And Father Dan Rahill put his hands on her and helped her because he's an exorcist. But what's going on in our society today is completely demonic. People, there's no respect. You don't like what I'm doing, I can hate you. I can shoot you. I don't like what you're saying, I can do whatever I want. I can hurt you in any way I want. I can fire you from a board. I can delete you. I can put nasty messages in your mailbox. I can do whatever I want to do. It doesn't matter. Well, let me tell you, you guys, it does matter. What you say and what you do does matter. And you're allowed to have an opinion last I checked. Because last I checked, President Donald Trump is our president. And we still have a right to speak our words. Now, do we have to respond in anger? I don't think so. If you haven't grown up yet, it's time to put on your big girl pants or big boy pants. And you know what? If you don't agree, that's okay. But tell us why you don't agree. You don't have to resort to violence, or are you a child? Because that's what children do that don't get what they want. They stomp their feet and they frail all over the floor and they scream and they yell and they throw punches and now they're getting their bullets out. But I've had enough. If you don't like what I have to say, stop listening. Big deal. I don't care. Delete me. Big deal. I don't care. But if you want to come and talk to me and be an adult, I'd love to hear it. But most of you can't do that, right? No, because you don't even know what to say, because you don't even know what to believe. So you just scream and you yell. You know, Charlie Kirk was a warrior. 31, you guys. He barely even knew what life was like at that point. But let me tell you, he had more courage than anybody I've ever met personally in my life. Because you know what? He didn't care. Why were so many people asking him, what happens when you die? Because who really thinks a 31-year-old's going to die? No one. But a lot of podcasters asked him that. Maybe they knew what we didn't know. But courage. He went out there and he was willing to take these young people's questions. Because you know what? These young kids don't always get a lot of respect, but they got respect from Charlie. I'm going to tell you, if you've got a problem with what I've been saying, please send me a note. Bring it. Bring it on. Bring it on. You can fire me from your boards. You can tell me you don't like me. You cannot invite me to your parties anymore. I don't care. What I do care about is the fact that I believe in God. I know Charlie Kirk is in heaven with Jesus and our Blessed Mother today. I know he's looking down at us. I'm not going to be angry. Oh no, baby, I'm happy and I'm sending you guys all prayers. And I think that if you're having a bad day, I get it, but you got to have faith because God died for each and every one of us. He died for us. He carried that cross on his back. His hands and feet were nailed to a cross. And you know what? He said, God, please bring me home to heaven and forgive these people who have done this to me. People are sick. We are not going to grovel. We are not going to get violent because that's not what we do. What we do is we come together and we lift each other up and we love each other. And know this, I love you no matter who you are, where you are. If you're listening to me, I appreciate it more than anything you'll ever imagine. And I want you to know this, you are not alone. You are not alone. And you might not understand what's going on. So reach out to me. Email me at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. Go to my website. You'll get my newsletter into your inbox at elizabethchance.com. But you're not alone. Marriage is important. Children are important. Communicating is important. Even if you don't agree. But if you see something that doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right in your gut, it is your obligation to say something, no matter what. Thank you for listening today, you guys. I'm sending, again, big hugs to you all. If you will please subscribe wherever you're listening and share this podcast with whomever you think might enjoy it. And thank you. I want to say thank you to Charlie Kirk for everything he did, for being a warrior. I want you to thank God. God, thank you for giving us Charlie Kirk for as brief as it was. Please, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for giving Erica Kirk the strength to keep going and to keep Turning Point going. Thank you, Erica. Until next time, everybody, I'll be back. I have a guest on Thursday. I have Jeff Grant, who is a white-collar crime attorney who's also been in prison. He was an addict. He's in long-term recovery now. That will drop on Thursday, and you'll have me back on Tuesday of next week. And until then, take care. Sending you all hugs. And if you have any ideas or thoughts, again, email me at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening. And please subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. Or if you're watching me on YouTube, press subscribe. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.